Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Wiley McCarty.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty. Mr. McCarty, you're here on a Superior Court probation violation warrant. This is for alleged violations of terms 6, 11, and 21. And I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing August 5th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. McCarty, you are non-bondable, so you will remain in custody until your first hearing. That's a probation hearing August 5th, 8:30 a.m. The judge at that time will determine whether your probation will be reinstated. Mr. McCarty, do you have any questions?
Yeah, this is my first violation. I don't understand what's going on. I just didn't go to class.
Correct. You did not participate in your classes, and I believe it's due to the underlying allegations in the case that the probation judge has determined you are non-bondable. So the probation judge can still reinstate your probation, but that's up to the probation judge.
So I got to sit in here till when?
Until August 5th, 2024. So about a week.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Any other questions, sir?
No, I just don't understand it. Now, I've been doing everything I was supposed to do on this probation. I've been on ankle monitor for 3 years without no more violation. First violation, she booked me, she slammed me down. I've been in classes with a church program, the whole nine. I've been getting different probations since December. You know what I mean? They've been giving me different things. I ain't had no problems until, you know what I mean, I started getting these new probation officers, and now they, you know what I mean, they finding any reason to lock me up. I ain't touched no handcuffs since I got out of prison in 21.
All right. So, sir, I mean, again, this is the probation judge who set this, and it's for not attending or participating in the classes, and also it says that there was a threatening voice message left on March 12th.
A threatening voice message on March 12th?
Correct, threatening another probation officer. All I'm telling you is what I'm reading here, sir, so.
Yeah, that's what's, okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McCarty.
Yeah.
Johansson, Coggeshall, and then Jesse Perrymore will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Johansson, Amos Coggeshall.
Thank you, Mr. Coggeshall. Sir, you're here on a Yavapai County Superior Court probation warrant. I have appointed you an attorney for limited representation regarding the bond issue only. You have an arraignment hearing at the Yavapai County Superior Courthouse August 1st at 8:30 a.m. I'm affirming the bond. It is a cash-only bond, the amount of $25,000. So you have to pay that in order to be released. If you do pay that, you are promising to go to court on the 1st. That's just 3 days from now. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Plus, you're not to possess any weapons, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Coggeshall, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Jesse Perrymore and then Clifton Taylor will be on deck. And I'm going to edit this one slightly. Just 1 moment, please. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Jesse Philip Perrymore.
Thank you, Mr. Perrymore. Sir, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations of 1 count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, also a Class 4 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference August 5th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing August 7th, 8:31 a.m. That's at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Perrymore, the county attorney's office has asked for a $25,000 bond. I am going to set bond in the amount of $15,000. That is secured appearance. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral, which would be $1,500. If you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, comply with supervision, and comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release, plus you're not to possess any weapons. Sir, do you have any questions?
Is there any way you could maybe take the bond away and just, because I have my mom, she's having like a really hard, struggle right now. She's in a physical rehab right now, and I'm kind of needed at the house, and it would be just a really, really bad thing if I wasn't there. I'm kind of begging you, please, and I will show up to my court dates.
Yeah.
I know you don't like doing that, but can you please, I'm begging you.
Yeah, so the issue is, Mr. Perrymore, I mean, you know, the state takes possession of a weapon by a prohibited person very seriously, and not to mention that your underlying felony offense is due to disorderly conduct involving a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. So it's already that you have that, and then again, you're found in possession of a weapon. And so, like I said, the county attorney's office wanted a $25,000 bond.
It wasn't in my possession though. It was on the seat that I was sitting on, and it wasn't in my pocket.
Well,
it was on the seat.
I mean, unfortunately, right. Unfortunately, I mean, that's the area that you're in. You're also found in possession of bullets as well. And so, I mean, it's just the totality of the circumstances, sir. So I'm going to keep the bond in place. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Clifton Taylor and then Joshua Cara will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Clifton Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you're here on a Navajo County Superior Court probation violation warrant. I have appointed you an attorney for limited representation regarding the bond issue only. You have an arraignment hearing at the Navajo County Superior Courthouse July 31st, 8:30 a.m. I am affirming bond amount of $10,000. That is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral, which would be $1,000.
Wait, so I am bondable?
Yes. So
They told me
$10,000. Just one moment, please, sir.
All right.
If you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on the 31st and promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release, and you are not to possess any weapons. So, just one moment. Yeah. All right. Any other questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Joshua Cara and then Maria Caballero will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Joshua Lee Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Cara. Mr. Cara, you're here on a Superior Court grand jury warrant, and you will have an attorney appointed at your next hearing. That will be an arraignment hearing August 2nd, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I am affirming the bond in the amount of $5,000. It is a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral, which would be $500. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You also must comply with supervision. You'll have an ankle monitor installed and with the standard conditions and restrictions of release, plus you're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're also not to possess any weapons, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Mr. Cara, do you have any questions?
Yes. I had a question. I was charged with this before, and they dropped it. Obviously, there probably was some new things in the case, but they OR'd me. Why am I not able to be OR'd this time? I mean, I followed through with everything. I'm not a flight risk. I have family here. I have a job. I'm just curious.
Sure. So, I mean, it's a grand jury warrant, so they have information that I don't have.
Okay.
They've asked for a $5,000 bond, you know, and like I said, they've got more information than I do.
Okay.
The reasons that they've listed, there's a substantial amount of restitution to be requested from all of the victims. There's victims throughout the entire country, and you have prior felony convictions, including failures to appear. So those are all the reasons that they gave for it.
I have failures to appear? I'm sorry.
That's what they've stated in here. Let's see. Yeah, you have failures to appear back in February 17th, 2017, which although was a while ago, but then also May 18th of 2009.
Yeah, that was a marijuana charge. Okay.
Okay.
All right, yeah, but it's fine. That's all good. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cara. Maria Caballero and then Benito Lopez will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Maria Caballero, May.
Thank you, Ms. Caballero. Ma'am, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant. You have a status conference August 5th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing August 7th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm setting bond amount of $2,500. It's a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral, which would be $250. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you will have an ankle monitor installed, as well as you must comply with pretrial services supervision and the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Ms. Caballero, do you have any questions?
Since it's like I was supposed to do classes or whatever to drop it down to misdemeanor, it just, I had something happen with my family, so, not that it's an excuse, but, there's no way I can get a second chance to be able to appear to court instead of being detained.
Well, the issue is, ma'am, that you previously paid a bond.
Yeah.
And then didn't appear.
Yeah, I know.
After paying the bond. So unfortunately, if anything, I mean, that would indicate to me that if I were to release you, you wouldn't show up in court. Because even the monetary amount of $1,800 wasn't enough for you to show up in court.
Yeah.
So I even questioned whether $2,500 was enough if $1,800 wasn't, because it's not that much more.
And I can't be like on probation or something to get a second chance to appear to court.
Well, probation is more of that's something, you usually you enter into a plea deal or sometimes it's after a conviction, but that hasn't happened in the case yet. Excuse me, it's always after a conviction. And so I can't do that. Like I said, there is an ankle monitor, but I'm ordering the ankle monitor along with the bond.
There's no way I could do the ankle monitor without the bond.
Well, no, because people chop off ankle monitors. Again, if $1,800 isn't enough incentive for you to go to court, then I'm concerned that you're going to go to court again. So I wish the situation was different, and this is where it's on you. You've got to make sure to get to court. If something happens, you've got to make sure to say, hey, I need to self-surrender, I need to take responsibility. Do you have any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Ms. Caballero. Good luck to you. Benito Lopez and then Jennifer Skinner will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Benito Lopez.
Mr. Lopez. Sir, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant. You have a status conference August 7th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm affirming bond in the amount of $1,500. That is a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company.
Yeah, I don't have $1,500.
Okay. So if you're unable to pay the bond, you'll remain
Do I have back time?
until the 7th. Oh, sir, please don't interrupt me. August 7th, 8:30 a.m. That's your court date. Bail bonding companies generally require 10%, which would be $150.
Yeah, I don't have it.
All right. So if you pay your bond, you're promising to go to court on all your
I
court
can't pay a
dates.
bond.
You're promising to go to comply with supervision and to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release, plus you're not to possess any weapons. Mr. Lopez, do you have any questions?
Yeah, do I have any back time?
I don't know the answer to that. Time you spend in custody right now will count towards time served, if that's your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Jennifer Skinner and then Michelle Loy will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Jennifer Shannon Skinner.
Thank you, Ms. Skinner. Ms. Skinner, you're here on a Justice Court failure to comply warrant. I have appointed you an attorney for limited representation regarding the bond issue only. So you have an arraignment hearing July 31st, 8:30 a.m. at the Santan Justice Court. I'm affirming bond in the amount of $680. It's a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. Because the amount's less than $1,000, some companies may not work with that number. I believe there are some that will, but I don't know what their terms would be. So if you pay the bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on the 31st, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Ms. Skinner, do you have any questions?
So, what were you saying about the attorney, or say that again at the beginning?
Right. So I've appointed you an attorney regarding the bond issue only.
What does that mean?
So that means because you're being held in custody,
Mhm.
so then I'm appointing you an attorney because you're being held in custody and have to pay a bond. So it's only regarding that. I'm not appointing you an attorney in the
Right.
case itself, just regarding the bond issue so that you're represented about that issue with the judge in court.
Okay, is there, I know you're gonna say no, but is there no way to lower the bond to something a little more feasible? Basically, when I got picked up, we literally were not doing anything. They had scanned my husband's license plate while we were in the store and waited for us to leave to pull us over and say that, I guess they pulled up his and I was an associate and I looked like the picture they saw, so they pulled us over, which is crazy. But obviously because of this, I'm literally missing work today. I'm missing work for the rest of the week. It's just me. That's my income. So I can't do anything without that job, and I'm really afraid I'm going to lose my job the longer I'm here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about that. And this situation is very old. And the thing that I keep getting picked up on, like the warrant, is because they're saying that I did not do 20 hours of community service. And I did, but I had to mail it to them, and this was like years and years ago. And then the last time I saw the judge at that court, I was supposed to do the 20 hours, and then COVID happened. So I had to email, and I did that. I called the court, and I emailed, and I was like, hey, nobody's going to let me do any of this, you know what I mean, because everything's closed. And I have not heard anything. And then just life happened and everything, and it kind of fell to the wayside, which is my fault. But I can take care of it. I can do it now that obviously everything is open and it's possible. But I really just do not want to lose my job. It's the only thing I've got to pay for everything that I have.
Right.
So I don't know if it's possible to at least lower the bond enough to make it more feasible for me to pay that, and I'll still show up to court because obviously I'm going to need that money back too, because it's not like I've paid on this like a million times. Like I've paid bonds, I've paid fees to them, I've paid fees for the shoplifting, like all of that. And then I've done more time on this charge than I even had allocated to me as far as the 20 hours of community service. Like I've almost been here longer than that amount of community service just in this time that I've been here, the almost 24 hours. And I'm just like asking for a chance to be able to get out and actually deal with it and figure out a new plan with the judge. But I don't have, nobody's going to work with me for less than $1,000, you know what I mean? Because it's a bond, like just like you said. But it's just slightly unfeasible right now because I just paid the bills that I could pay out of my last check. So
Right.
I don't know what to do about that. Like, I just need a lower bond. I'll still pay a bond. I just need a lower bond to be able to get out and go deal with it and also not lose my job in the process. Because
Okay. Yeah, and I guess, right, I mean, the biggest part of the hesitation on my part is that, I mean, what's saying here is this is the 12th failure to comply warrant that's been issued in the case.
It's been happening since, but I know that that's what the paperwork you have says, and that's what everything says, but I have done the 20 hours. It's all about that 20 hours community service. That's all I ever hear about when I go there. And I've done it, and I've paid, and I've done the time and everything. Like, I've done so much, time based on the, times where I couldn't get there, I didn't have a car, just all the stuff you hear all the time. You know what I mean? Just different reasons. And I did actually do the community service. I was just living in Casa Grande at the time and had to mail it to them because they wouldn't accept a faxed signature from, the churches and the Humane Society out there that I did my community service with. Right. So I keep having to deal with this, and I've put in so much time, and I've paid money. I've had my grandmother help me pay money, so they've gotten so much money from me in so much time, and it's all based on that 20 hours of community service.
Well, here's what I'll do, Ms. Skinner. I mean, I'll reduce the bond to $350, and then I'll also just say, judges, my experience is judges are happy to work with people. Mm-hmm. So, but you got to have, I'm sure it's frustrating. I'm sure this has been going on for a long time, but you've got to have that final thing saying, this is done, this is over with.
I know.
Otherwise, it's going to keep interfering with your life, which it sounds like it's done for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that $680 is worth 12 warrants at this point.
Yeah.
And I realize it's over other things too, but, so I've heard you, I will reduce the bond to $350. And then, again, your court date's July 31st. And I'll just say too, I mean, let's say you get behind or something happens, it's always going to be better for you to go and talk to the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Until you have that, this is the deal, this is what the judge has agreed to or it's signed off on, don't make any assumptions. Because, again, I don't want you to have to come back here.
Right. Yeah.
Right? That's not, no judge wants people to have to go to jail because they owe a few $100s.
Right. And really, it's just the community service.
Well,
I don't
sure,
even know
and it may just be the community service, but again, and that's where you've got to follow through and make sure, like, you've done it, great, but you've got to follow through and make sure, did it get to the judge? Unfortunately, it's an imperfect system.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes something gets missed or overlooked or whatever the case may be, and so that's why.
So long ago.
Sure, but you got, but you got to follow through and make sure that it gets done.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so good luck to you, Ms. Skinner.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Michelle Loy and then Ralph Ahumada will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Michelle Loy, 1020.
Thank you, Ms. Loy. Ms. Loy, you are here on a Superior Court probation violation warrant for alleged violations of terms 4 and 15. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing August 5th. 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm affirming bond the amount of $500. Is a secured appearance bond. You can pay that amount directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require, it's less than $1,000, so some companies may not work with that number. I believe there are some that will. I don't know what their terms would be. If you pay the bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Ms. Loy, do you have any questions? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.